super far from so much of the world in the Central Asian region. Kazakhstan, the biggest landlocked country. This city, when you fly into, is overly impressive because the plane drops out of the sky and then these mountains, you start to see these massive mountains. So it's got this frontier-like wild feel to it. Quiet Saturday morning, business buildings, nothing that interesting yet. So I'm gonna take one of these buses here and just see where that takes me. Almaty, just like so many of these former Soviet places, are just rife with extremes. So there's that Russian Orthodox church behind me. And then check this out. This is a pretty extreme monument. I've seen a lot of monuments in my time, but this one is in its own category. Look at that. World War II Memorial. And so for those that don't know, the Soviets lost upwards of 25 million, maybe more, in World War II. And all the states, all the ex-Soviet states, there's 15 of them in total, were represented. And, well, Kazakhstan being a big player in the war. So I came here 16 years ago, and that was...
Okay, we're gonna go skating with Vasily.
A quick trip through. I was with a friend. I was a kid then, and we were just... I think we were only here 3 nights, and basically just going out and partying, seeing some of the sights, don't remember too much of the place.
You should give some background here, Pete. This guy served in the Red Army during the war for 3 years. I think it sounds like he killed Japanese. 7 years altogether in the Red Army. Lived in Alaska. This is the warrior spirit.
Ready?
Ready!
But this time coming into Almaty, I've gotten to get to know the city better, and I'm properly surprised by a lot of beautiful streets in the city. A lot of wide boulevards, very clean. Bike paths, I've seen a lot of these bike paths. Outdoor patio areas, restaurants, coffee shops, green spaces. It's actually green. I thought it would have been brown in the summer, but it's not, even though it's ridiculously hot right now out there. It's peaceful. It's everything's gridded and spread out. So it's a walkable city, but the distances are pretty large. What I find very interesting here is the mix of ethnicities. So you have a minority Russian population and a majority Kazakh population. I think the Russians make up, I was told, like roughly 35%. So it's a pretty large demographic. And it really gets along well. Everyone I talk to, and from what I could notice on the streets, it's like the races intermingle very well. And Russian is mostly what I've heard on the streets. I haven't heard so much Kazakh. But there doesn't seem to be any tension between the groups, and that can't be said in all countries in the world where there's, two large ethnicities in one place. Usually one's the inferior, one's the superior. It just feels like it works here really well.
앞으로 두루.
Uber's not so popular. They have something called the Yandex, but more effective actually. It's just you hold your arm out. You're gonna take a taxi home.
Yeah, just right here.
But it's not there's a guy.
Yeah.
But it's not a normal taxi. You just, so in Almaty, you just put your hand out
Yeah.
and negotiate a taxi.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And anyone picks you up.
Yeah.
And it's not hitchhiking. So I learned that it's actually, there are tons of people just cruising around and they're gonna pick you up for extra cash. And there's enough trust in the city where that it works. I mean, women do it at night, which I found to be interesting. It's a petro state, so there's a lot of oil and gas here, a lot of natural resources. And even though I've been told it's very corrupt, at least you can see some of the money filtering down to the infrastructure, because the highways, the bridges, the metro is beautiful. The cleanest metro I've ever been in, by far. Immaculate. Like, it's just really buff. Highly sleep deprived right now because parties and it's men and women out there, and so it is somewhat of a drinking culture.
Today is Sunday. Everyone get party at the night, and now is sleep.
Okay, I want to talk about that. Everyone parties. So we're in a Muslim country.
You can be religious, you can be not religious.
Mm-hmm.
It's just independent of you.
Right.
Everything is allowed.
And I've been told, I met a few guys that are like practicing on a regular basis and they don't drink, but it doesn't mean everyone doesn't drink. I'd say it's very tolerant. And I've seen a lot of Russian Orthodox churches here. So the religions seem to flow pretty well together too. It doesn't seem like there are any rifts with that from what I've noticed. There's Hotel Kazakhstan.
Yes.
This is your hotel
Yes.
on the money.
Yes.
How'd you do that? Do you love your country?
Of course.
Cool. Beautiful place.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice place, Hotel Kazakhstan. I was told the salaries are pretty low. You said the minimum salary is roughly $300. A good salary is like $600.
Yes.
A great salary is like $1,000. This is a month.
Yes, this is a month.
Then how do so many people have nice cars? Why does everything look so good? How do people have so much money? I don't get it. Something's not.
I don't know. Sometimes I ask myself about it.
And again, corruption's a big part of that, sure. But it's just something isn't link up there. I can't figure that one out. I went to a so-called bad neighborhood. It wasn't terrible. This is the bad part of Almaty, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the roads are still amazingly good, which is interesting. Is there a worse part?
Because now it's early morning.
Because it's early morning.
If you come here at the night, it's more dangerous.
It's dangerous at night.
Yes.
It's definitely a different world than where we were. the other side of the city,
yeah.
up near the mountains. But still, it's not like terrible. You ready? Gotowa.
Go.
There's a mountain, Koktobé, which is up over the city, and there's a gondola, the modern gondola that goes up there, and it gives these beautiful viewpoints of the whole city. Mountains just rip right out of this city. Massive snow-capped peaks just right out here. Шар? Солнце, да. Жарко.
Да.
Look at this beautiful mosaic. Love this stuff. So much of this in this part of the world. Kids jumping. Just overall a good vibe up here, right over the city. And what it cost me, $6 to get up here? Yeah, super easy. You know, a lot of people skip this part of the world usually. They go over the Trans-Siberian Railroad. And so they miss all these stand countries. And these stand countries are really, in my opinion, some of the most interesting ones. I mean, just these mountains alone. This is pretty much the start of the Hindu Kush, which goes all the way to Everest. So it's a mass, I mean, it's the world's biggest mountain chain. So the city has all these irrigation canals, and it all is coming from these mountains. So it's really fresh, cold water. People dip their feet in it, they hang out. It cools the air in the city. Even though it's super hot, it definitely cools off the place a bit. You put the word "stan" at the end of anything, any word or sentence, and a majority of Americans, or say Western Europeans, are thinking terrorism and dangerous. It's not the case here. Not at all. It's got a bad image because of, partially because of the name, partially because it's been, you know, just destroyed through the movie Borat. So people have a bad impression of this place, which is completely unjust because, as you can see in my footage, it's a good-looking place. It's a pleasant place. It's like a nice city. You couple in this Kazakh / Russian / being very landlocked, sort of between Europe and Asia, massive mountains in a forever plain that leads into this place, and you have something quite unique. It's not even that adventurous, which is crazy. Everyone, you know, most people think Kazakhstan, wow, that's extreme. No, it's actually not. I mean, you can rip off into the countryside here, and I'm sure to get into some serious adventures. But as far as coming into Almaty, it's a very civilized, clean, peaceful, nice place. So that's my story.